Hi everybody, I'm Kim. Welcome to the Regretful Yarn Addict. Today is Tuesday, which means it's Monday makes on Tuesday. So, hi, what have I been up to? Well, I'll tell you what. These have not been idle hands. I've been busy. I haven't really got anything made, but I'll show you what I've been doing. So let's start out with last week. I took, let's back up even further. Craft Fair last fall, I made a bunch of these little worry worms, and well, you know what? I'll either just give them away or I'll sell them for $1. Nobody was interested. I mean, that was a horrible, horrible craft show. 100 million degrees outside. Nobody even wanted to look at anything made out of yarn. It was horrible. And I know it wasn't just me, because there was a couple others, and yeah, people just kind of glanced and then they walked right on by like, thanks. So anyway, I had a bunch of these worry worms left. And they were just sitting in the house, and I was like, you know what, I'll just take them to work. It's been kind of hectic, and people are constantly. So that, okay, I'll just take them in. But I didn't have enough to give everybody. So only some people got some, and then I felt bad because people in this other section where I don't sit, because our office is like, here's a section, over here's a section, and then there's, in the middle, there's 6 offices. And it was basically only people on this side got one, and maybe a couple people over there. So anyway, I felt bad, so I made some more. So I've been making worry worms. I got all these and these. And these. And they're, look at that. Aren't they adorable? And you just kind of like worry them. And then there's a little poem I found, printed out, and I used my hole punch. I was going to say my punch hole. My hole punch, and I put these in one of those little tiny snack bags. These backwards. And I punch a hole in the bag, put the poem on with a little yarn, and it's just a cute little thing. So I've got to get those put together. Then, yesterday, I was perusing YouTube, as I do, and I found this hat pattern that looked kind of cool. And it's called the oh my god, my mind is drawing a blank. Showtime hat by the Crochet Crowd. And it was like really cool. So I had, you know how you just have like one skein or one ball or one cake of yarn, and you're like, well, what can I do with that? And it's like, all right, well, I can make a hat, maybe a hat and scarf. I could have made a hat and a cowl with this one. So I found that pattern, and I was like, well, I like it, so I'm going to go ahead and make it. So I made it exactly to pattern. And you notice I haven't put it up yet. So I made it exactly to pattern, except that Mikey used Red Heart Roll With It Melange, which is probably like a size 3 yarn, and he used a 4 or 4.5 millimeter. Well, what I had was a Karen cake, and that's a number 4. So it was like, all right, and I used a 5 millimeter. So of course it's going to be bigger, but I didn't realize it was going to be that much bigger. Holy crap. Okay, this doesn't look big, but that's how big it turned out. And if I put it up, I mean, it's even too big for Brian's head, and Brian has like big head. I mean, like that, it looks all right. So I was like, I love this pattern, but I don't want one that's big enough for a giant head. So anyway, this one, he said, start out with 80, a chain of 80. But it was like, as long as you're in like groups of 5, you can change the size. So the next one, I decided to go down and did 60. And it turned out much better. I like this one a lot more. See how pretty that is? The stitching, it's like really nice. I'm not a real big fan of this kind of brim, but I like that. And I think you almost need something like this when you've got so much going on up here. He says it's an intermediate, but I think as long as you can count and you can do trebles and singles, because this is just single crochets in the back loop, and then you treble down 2 rows down below and catch it. And it's pretty fun. It didn't take me long at all to make it. Okay, so the next thing, Jada and Stitches has another calendar crochet along for this year. And this year it's totally Tunisian. Well, last year I bought myself some Tunisian hooks and just a cheap set just to try it out. And I made like, I don't know, 1 dishcloth, 1 washcloth. And I was like, all right, yay me, I know how to Tunisian crochet now. Well, yeah, I knew how to do the simple. And that was the first stitch that Jada did for the for her calendar crochet along. They're supposed to be 12-inch by 12-inch, but you know, you saw bits and pieces of my mile a minute last year. I never make anything to size. But anyway, this is a Tunisian simple stitch. Very easy. The only thing I really don't like about Tunisian is it curls right up. I mean, it will just burrito right up there, and you have to block. So anyway, so that inspired me. I was like, hey, this is all right. And I didn't want to be like next month, which I think next Friday, which would be the 4th. I think next Friday is the 4th. That's when the next one comes out, and I didn't want to be like not knowing how to do anything. So all week I've been perusing YouTube as I do, and I was like looking up Tunisian stitches, and oh my God, there's a lot of them. I mean, I was surprised. So let me show you what I've been learning. And as a result, I have a lot, well, not a lot. I have 4 dishcloths here because I decided if I'm going to learn a stitch, I'm going to do it on cotton, kitchen cotton, and these are all done using Red Heart Scrubby Smoothie Scrubby or Scrubby Smoothie, And I don't even think they make that anymore. So this one is the knit stitch. And yes, I made mistakes. Once I got the hang of it, of the knit stitch, it was like, oh hell, this is easy. And again, it curls. But it's a dishcloth, so I am not going to block it because it's just going to get wet. And there goes your blocking anyway. Wow, yeah. Holy crap. I see. I'll point out my own mistakes there, but there you can see I totally missed it. Down here. Yeah. But I got the hang of it later on when I did another stitch. And it's crooked. Okay, so that is the knit stitch. And this is what it looks like on the back. Next one I learned was the honeycomb. And what threw me off was, I think it was Happy Berry. Anyway, because I've been watching different YouTubers do these, trying to find out who's going to be my favorite, because I do love Tony at TL Yarns, and she does a shit ton of Tunisian. But, you know, every once in a while, you want to see how other people do stuff. So this one is the honeycomb, and on the picture that she was showing for her thumbnail, that's what it's called. When she was showing for her thumbnail was totally different than what the stitch was, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Because I'm doing exactly what she tells me to do, and mine doesn't look at all, not even a smidgen like that thumbnail. But it was like she was showing the smock stitch, a picture of the smock stitch or a lattice stitch or something, and for the honeycomb. And then I was like, oh, excuse me, my fiber's flying around or something from something. So anyway, I looked at other tutorials for the honeycomb, and it looked a lot different. So anyway, this is the honeycomb. And I think that one could be like one of my favorites. And again, that's what the back looks like when you do Tunisian. I like it. It's got a nice, well, all Tunisian has got that nice, on the back, it's like a nice little scrubby. So there's those. And then the next one I learned was, oh my God, what is this? No, this was the next one I learned. Was the rib stitch. Here. And yeah, I dropped a stitch there. But the wonderful thing about this stitch, because it's all knits and purls, I know it's not knit, but that's what it's called, the knit stitch and the purl stitch. And it gives a nice little ribbing. Does not curl. It does not curl. I love that. Let's see if you can, there you can see the ribbing on it. I think this was definitely Hooked by Robin. It was either Hooked by Robin or Happy Berry. think it was Happy Berry. But she was making a boy's tank top out of this, and it was like, this thing with Tunisian is, especially because this is a 4-weight cotton yarn, and it's thick. This is done using a Caron Skinny Cake, because I knew from experience making that one dishcloth, washcloth, whatever it was I made, that it comes out thick, and I didn't want a really thick blanket, even though there's only going to be 12 squares. I was like, yeah, no thanks. Okay, and this was the last one I learned. And I'll be damned if I can remember which is the front and which is the back. Anyway, it's the half double. This is the front. Except it's like that. I think. Yeah, because this is top, bottom. And this was really easy to do too. So I am really liking Tunisian. My goal, one of my goals, I think, is to make a blanket, and not just the crochet squares one. I think I'm gonna probably make a scarf, because that's one of my goals for this year, is to make a object out of Tunisian. And like I said, not just squares. I'm going to find a stitch I really like, and I'm going to make probably a scarf out of it, just so I can say, yay, I did it. So anyway, that's what I've been making this week. Let me know what you've been doing. And yeah, give yourself a try Tunisian. It's fun. Except, okay, the only thing I really don't like about it is the way I have to hold the hook. Okay, like when I have a regular crochet hook, I can hold it like this, or I can hold it like this. With Tunisian, there's no holding pencil. You totally have to hold it like this. And there's no nice grip on it, because you have to have it long enough to hold your stitches. So let me show you. Well, this is a really skinny one, but I mean, you have to hold it like this, and then move your hand as the stitches go on it, and then move your hand as the stitches go off. And it's just, oh, I don't think I could ever use this. Oh my God, this is a 4. I don't think I could do it. It's too thin. But with Tunisian, you always go up like 1 or 2 sizes anyway. So if you were using a 4, you'd be using like little tiny crochet thread, which might be pretty neat. Okay, guys, so that's about it for now. This is a nice long video. Sorry about that. See you later. Have a good week. Have a good day. Have a good month. Make the best of the year. And you'll see me next time.